Hi, hello, and how are you, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Emerging Elite Podcast. If you're new to the channel, here's the deal. We have our all-star panel of coaches here who've come up with some amazing topics for us to discuss from the world of track and field. We throw them on the spinning wheel and let fate decide what we cover. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into who our coaches are. And on your mark, get set, let's go.
Coach Megan, pole vault.
Coach Kaya jumps and multis.
Dr. Mel, hurdles, sprints, and jumps.
And I'm Coach Sean, and I cover the throws. All right, so we are less than 2 weeks out from Thanksgiving. How is everyone feeling like getting with their fall training stuff going into the holidays?
Hungry. Hungry. For us, we have less than a month before our first winter meet out here in
Ooh.
Cali. So super exciting. Kids are very anxious. We just started spiking up. So, the kids are like, oh, look at my new spikes and all that glamorous stuff. And they're like, oh, can we wear spikes now? Can we wear spikes for every single workout? It's like, you need to calm down. We got time. So they're hungry for sure.
Nice, nice. Kai, how about yours?
Well, I'm not really coaching right now, besides myself. But I've got about 3 weeks until my first meet for at the college level, kind of unattached.
Nice.
Ooh, there you go.
Nice.
Which
So,
meet do you open up with?
I'm gonna go up to Colorado School of Mines
Oh, good
for
stuff.
their alumni open. Yeah, it's one of my favorite long jump pits.
Ooh.
They got a very hard, fast ground, and it's like a second floor kind of. It's got some. It's cool. It's a good place to jump.
Interesting.
You'll have to take
If
some
we're
video or something that we can like show on the podcast at some point. Like
Oh,
that'd be cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, have you ever tried like St. Thomas University, their track in Minnesota? It's
I've
a
heard of
second
it, but I haven't
floor.
tried it.
It's a second floor.
Okay.
It's a
Wow.
very cool feel when you're running because you can feel it once everybody goes, you can feel the floor move.
Oh, wow.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hillsdale College in Michigan had something like that, but it was like it was a floating track, right?
Yeah.
So like you could feel like just like the give and take with it with every step. It was super cool.
Let's just straight up like their weight room's on the first floor and then the second floor has the track on it.
That's
Yo.
awesome.
Yeah.
Coach Mel, what about you? How's your group getting ready for the holidays?
Doing good. We got a couple more weeks and then they have finals. So we're just kind of closing up, getting our last bit of training before they disappear. We don't do a December meet, maybe next year, but we'll open up our first meet January 18th-ish. So we're just closing up, getting ready to finalize a couple things, and then when they get back, we'll start rolling.
I like that. I like that. We're currently on our dead period right now for Indiana. We can start doing workouts and activities with our group come December 1st. And then we won't have one, I think, before Christmas break, but we'll have one, I think, when we get back. When I was in Michigan, we used to do like a Grand Valley like icebreaker kind of opener just to kind of get everything going. But that being said, right? How do you all feel before we get into our wheel? How do you all feel about having one meet on the track side before Christmas break versus just starting once you get back from Christmas break and saying, all right, now we're just rolling right through, whether it's indoor or a longer outdoor season?
I like it. I think it gives, especially your freshmen who haven't done indoor, gives them opportunity to get that kind of, what do you call it, that nervous energy, like what's going on. I think it helps them get it out. And then those that have been around that are ready to go, it kind of gives like, all right, this is where I'm at. And then as a coach, it kind of is like, all right, let's see if you can maintain that. Let's see if you're still doing workouts. By the time they come back, I have something to base more information off of. So I like it. I think most programs should, but I also know like for us budget wise, and I know some other schools budget wise, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I always liked it as an athlete because it gave me a chance to qualify early and get that
Mhm.
off your plate.
True.
Especially in the multis. If you can hit one good pent, that gives you a month rest before you have to do another pent before conference. And having that space in between your multis is a huge help so you don't get hurt. But I mean, as far as high school coaching in Colorado, we don't start till February, so that's all on hold. There's some club things, but we don't really, as high school coaches, get into it. We've
No,
got
that's
like
fair.
one big club here, and they kind of run whoever wants to do club during the winter.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that's kind of like how it is for us out here in Cali too. It's like we don't have true indoors, like we run indoor lengths and everything, but it's not a true indoor meet or anything like that because we still have the weather out here. So they just try qualify for winter championships and then try to become a winter champ, which is like usually the first weekend of February. And then we are officially wearing our high school name across our chest like at the end of February. So like all these winter meets we go to and stuff, like it's not technically on like the high school dime or anything like that. It's more like, hey, if you want to compete at this meet this weekend, this is where us coaches plan on going. Up to you and your parents. If you want to pay for it, sign the waiver, stuff like that. And then, for a baseline, like Ramel was saying, for me, my baseline would be the pole vault summit. I take my team to the pole vault summit every year and I use that as a baseline. That's the second weekend of January. And then when we get back from that, that kind of helps me fine tune things for about a month before we officially wear our high school name across our chest.
That's solid. I always liked being able to have that chance, like Kaya said, qualify early for nationals, like punch your ticket, call it good. Especially not just from like the pent and multi side, but from the distance side as well, right? Because I mean, people are coming
Yeah.
right off nationals, hold that peak a little bit longer to punch your ticket, and then
Mhm.
take the longer recovery over break and be able to come back with fresh legs afterward. I always thought was cool. But from like a sprints, jumps, throws side, man, I just wanted to compete. I mean, all fall trying to grind and just get after it. And then you're like, oh, go home for 2 weeks. Have a nice day. Like, no, 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 not about that. Let's go get a first early mark. And then it's like, all right, you've got time to be able to sit there and think about, okay, here's everything we did up to this point. Here's where we're at. Now, how do I gear this into the next part of my season, right? Because for when I was coaching high school in Michigan, we would do a lot of weight throw stuff and
Mhm.
we'd build kids in so they could do like hammer club stuff in the summer, but we would focus a lot on weight and a little bit on shot. Um, but that was kind of our big thing. It's like let's focus on the weight side, and then once we get closer to the official start in the spring, then it was all right. Now let's kick back up with some shot because we spent all winter like tinkering with the things that we wanted to tweak in season. I mean, say, all right, cool. Like you want to make this adjustment, that adjustment. Let's do it now. And that way, when we get to spring, you're just building on it and adding confidence and speed. And so we can hit those big marks at the end of the year. And that seemed to do pretty well. But man, if I couldn't have something before December, I'd like my skin would be crawling, just ready for a meet. Tell you what.
Yeah.
I think for multis, if we didn't have something in December and I just went, I mean, that gives you one multi before conference. And I'd be like, well, you mess
Yeah.
this up, like you're done. That's it.
Hmm.
There's no chance at conference. There's no chance at nationals.
Yeah.
So having one early and then you get kind of one, if I screw this up, I have one more chance.
Oh yeah. Well, I've seen
But
some that do the multis where they'll be like, all right, we want to save that first multi for that, middle of the road piece. But it's like, what are my problem events? And then they try and tackle those early.
yeah,
But if there's still problems, then it's like, oh, we've now missed an entire opportunity to like be able to put it all together.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those were always my best multis, and most of those scores would hold me all the way through from the December meet. Then I could just sit back and start working on the little bits and breaking stuff down and rebuilding the shot put.
No, that is fair. That is fair indeed.
Gives
You
you a
know,
chance to be like, okay, scrap everything you knew in the shot put. We're starting back over again.
I would be seeing those shot numbers go up. If not, I'm gonna have to like come out to Colorado and be like, what are you doing?
Oh, if I blow through my block in December, I have a couple people who might just kill me.
Good teachable moment, fans. Don't blow through your block. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into our spinning wheel here. I will share the screen and we will get this rocking and rolling. Da 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 da. Spinning wheel of topics.
Ooh.
Okay, so for those of
Okay.
you at home, we actually talked about adding this topic in right before the show because one of our other hosts could not be here today, but he presented the topic. So this is an interesting one. So,
Here, I'm
squad.
pulling his up right now so we can at least include his in the podcast.
Yep, yep. So Coach Frankie, who is our jumps guy out of Jersey, had an answer as well. If you don't have it, I've got it up here as well.
I do. So he said, I'm off when I leave practice or a meet, but if I'm online or talking on the phone, I'm back on. The phone bit makes sense, but for online, it's because I still have athletes who I coach following me and I want to model certain behaviors. I have so many follow-up questions to this though, and that's so hard since he's not here.
We should pose the follow-ups right here to
Yeah,
everyone here.
I agree.
Okay, so like athletes who I coach following me and I want to model certain behaviors, like what does that even entail? Like, yes, you're online, but like how do they know you're like I understand like Instagram has like a little like green, oh, you're online, but it's like, is that truly a definition of online?
I'm wondering if it's the again, I'm a for like my background is education, so I wonder if it's like as a teacher, if you post things online, like it can come back and get you. So I wonder if that's what he meant. Like if
Oh,
I post certain
maybe.
things, I
Yeah.
have to make sure I'm behaving a certain way so that they don't think like, what's that coach doing? But again, that's my education background.
No, no, I second that, Ramo. I do.
I was gonna say from like the education side too, could it also be that you're trying to model the communication piece, of
Mm.
like, hey, like I'm online and this is how we connect. I'm not letting X amount of days go before I get back to you, so I'm modeling that I get back to you within time frame.
That's fair. Okay, I'll start it off. I think it's definitely depending on like what's going on. So like usually I'm at practice a good half an hour after it's over. So in case like anyone needs to come talk or chat, or this is my opportunity to check in with my coaches, we have that opportunity away from the kids. So there's that option. If they're emailing me in something relation to practice that's happening the next day, like I'll respond back. But if it's like a question or just telling me like, hey, I'm not gonna be at practice, like I'll wait until next morning to do it. And then like same thing when it comes to like over the weekend, like the way I view it right now is I'm not doing Saturday practices yet. So I believe that the weekends are still myself. So I would tend to wait. If it's something that's not completely urgent and they don't need necessarily a full-on response immediately, I would wait until Monday when I'm back at work to respond to it. Because I need time. I'm also a full-time student, so I need to have time to do my homework, and the best time for me to do it is on the weekend as well. So I think it definitely depends on what the scenario is for sure, on when I'm considered off the clock.
I agree with that, and that I'll say a little bit different just because I am their parent away from home on the college setting.
It's true.
So for the most part, I give them that running joke, like if it's an emergency, call me at 4 a.m. But if it's not, please don't. Like I don't tell them don't bother me, but like let's be reasonable at 4. If you don't actually need something at 4 a.m., don't text me. But for the most part, I'm kind of like you. Like if we're at practice or I'm in the office, I'm on the clock. If I'm recruiting, I'm on the clock. If we're at a track meet and we're away, whether it's overnight or there, I'm on the clock. But other than that, I consider myself off. If I'm at the house, I'm pretty much off. Like I said, if it's a email, text that I think can wait, then I'll respond later or the next morning. Sometimes I'm looking, I have nothing else to do. I'll go ahead and respond. But for the most part,
Mhm.
at home, I'm off the clock.
I feel like I'm the weird one because I'm like, just send it to me. Whatever questions you have, just send it. But I'm also like in my 30s and still running track, so I mean, there may be an ounce of crazy there to begin with.
It's not
But
crazy.
I'm like, I don't care. Hit me up at 2 a.m. with some random track question. I'm like, I live for this stuff.
I mean, I'm asleep. And yeah, I probably won't be reading it until I wake up low key.
And
I'm
I mean, I
awake.
work dispatch and all that, so I have that weird sleep schedule
Oh,
anyways.
yeah.
I'm
But
awake though. I just feel like I shouldn't have like I try to create that boundary like 12, 2 a.m. I'm not I feel like I shouldn't be messaging at 2 a.m. So I'm not going to. But
Yeah,
unless it's an emergency.
yeah, that is also
yeah.
like a hard boundary because it does depend on the situation. And it's like, oh yeah, I was talking to my coach at 2 a.m. And it's like, yeah, but
Yeah.
what was the
Mhm.
conversation behind it? Because
Yeah.
if you were having a crisis about something and needed to talk it out because you were afraid you were gonna behave inappropriately in any way, then yes, call me. But then if it's just like, nah, I just want to talk, I'm like, we can talk at practice or we can talk at school. So
Yeah.
yeah, that is a
Yeah.
very hard, interesting line in the coaching world for sure.
I also, though, I've always had very small groups. I usually only coach 4 or 6 kids in a year, too. So the chances that one of them texts me at 2 a.m. is pretty slim.
That's true.
But
I I think I'm similar in some respects to Kaya in that it's usually like, hey, if it's a video, a question, this or that, like, you know, send it my way, right? Because if it's on your mind now and it's important now, I want to know where your head's at, right? Because if this is something that's weighing on you, and it might be something that drags on till the next day, I don't want you to have to wait and then all of a sudden lose your train of thought and then become like, oh, I had a question about this thing. It was really important, but like, I couldn't tell you what it was, right? Because I mean, I know I do that. Other people do that a lot.
That's
Um,
fair.
but there's also, like Megan said, I think a time where it has to be cut off. So I try not to do anything communication wise with athlete stuff beyond about 10:30 at night. Um, just because I don't think there's a really a reason to do it at that point. And if I'm already like in bed, that's that's my time with me and my wife, right? Like we are like that is the first team I'm a part of.
Hmm.
Then there are other teams, right? But
Mhm.
it's me, my wife, my son, and so like you have to have that. If I'm if we're on like long car rides, maybe now and then we'll take a call if somebody has like an urgent question. But even like going to pick up our son from school, I'll take people's FaceTime calls and be like, "Hey, what's up?" If, and if we're like sitting in the car line, I'll get out and I'll talk them through like a drill or something like that. Which does that blend the line or blur the line, I guess, of off time, on time? Kind of, but if that's when they're practicing, if that's when they have a question, like that kind of has to be. People shouldn't have that question beyond 10:30 at night, right?
And then I think it gets tricky too, because like you've been in multiple places and multiple time zones,
Yeah.
Sean, as well, that like it may be 10 o'clock at night over there for you, but it could be me calling you and it's 7 o'clock over here for me, you know? So like that's where it gets tricky too, because I have sometimes some college athletes who just come and jump with me over the summer because I'm like one of the few camps in my area, you know, and they would hit me up and what I think is late, but in reality, I like look at their time zone and I'm like, oh, it's actually late for them, but early for
Yeah.
me, you know? So I think that's where it's tricky too, is because we make ourselves accessible beyond just our current team, you know?
Mhm.
Right. Well, like when I was recruiting and I was recruiting kids in the West Coast, right? And the kid says, "Hey, I can't get a hold of you until 9 p.m. tonight because I've got practice and I've got school and I've
Yeah.
got this obligation." I'm like, "All right, I'll call you at midnight Eastern Standard
Yeah.
Time and we'll make it work." And there are certainly a lot of those times where it's like, "Really? Why are you on the phone at midnight talking track?" It's like, I don't know. Like
That's
it's
how I
just
feel when I call Francis sometimes about things. I'm all like talking up a storm and I'm like, oh, it's 10 o'clock my time here. Okay, I'm ready for bed. And I'm like, oh, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning for you. Why didn't you kick me off? You know I can talk
yeah,
all night. Like,
yeah.
I think
And
it's that
and
that balance that we have to have, like whether it's who we're talking to or the
yeah.
situation.
that's
And
true.
also just being understanding of who we're talking to. So whether it's a recruit or you calling one of us over here on the East Coast, like we just have to make sure we're aware. I think it's also the thing.
Well, and I think that that extends too on the recruiting side too, because I know Mel, you can probably speak to this as well. Like when we've had to recruit people, right?
Mhm.
Like you don't want to cut a kid off after 20 minutes who might be really interested, really excited. You just want to say, hey, like let's answer the questions you have that while we got you here and keep that excitement level high. I've had some that have lasted 5 minutes because the kid is not interested. They're saying all the wrong things, and it's just like, nope, this isn't a good fit. Have a nice day. And some that have lasted like an hour.
Mhm.
It's like, I mean, I feel like I'm pretty good with like an internal clock to know like when roughly 20 minutes, half hour, an hour, like depending on what I'm doing, right? So like in practice, I can know like when an hour is up. So like I know to transition into the next event. Like if we're working on practice stuff. In recruiting calls, I started to get to the point where I could roughly tell internally when about 20 minutes was, and then I would try and wrap it up, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the
But
same way.
that's also where like emailing a lot of that stuff or trying to like do my emails in the morning for recruits and then set the calls up later was helpful. But kids nowadays don't want to talk, they want to type and they want to
Uh-huh.
text. And it's like
1000%.
like I can read your words. I want to hear your intention.
Yeah, I hear the enthusiasm almost because
Yeah.
that's hard to fake.
I want to
Yeah,
see
that's
your buy-in. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, and that's
show
what
me
I
that.
I start off with when I'm recruiting one, so that I'm not talking for an hour unless I don't have to. I start off like, hey, what questions do you have for me? So like you said, I can hear them, and then I can also figure
Mhm.
out what actually they're looking for, so that I can try to give them a close answer versus me just rambling for 30 minutes
Yeah.
about stuff they may not actually care about. I mean, I hope you do because I think everything we share is important. But that way I get to hear them talk, hear their intention. Now the ones that are like, I have no questions. I kind of push them into a question. And I'll be like, what about practice? What about campus? What about your degree? What about the team? You have no questions
Mhm.
on any of that. I'll go, that's a good one. What about this? So I still get a
Okay.
couple of from.
Well, and I'll say like certain holidays or special days, like unless I'm with like saying happy birthday to someone or I'm saying like Merry Christmas or this or that, like outside of those like quick little snippets, like that's all you're getting from me like on those days, right? So like
Hmm.
Christmas Day, it's like, oh, yep, Merry Christmas. Hey, we're doing stuff with the family right now, but I'll talk to you next week or I'll talk to you in a couple days. Like,
Yeah.
you know, because there does have to be a boundary. And I think if my wife were sitting in this room right now, she would tell you that I have a hard time balancing that boundary because like track and field is the thing like I am all in and nerd out for. I mean, like to an nth degree, right? And so when you're passionate about it and it's what you do every day and you're just so excited about it, it's really
Agreed.
hard to find that off switch.
I totally agree. There's definitely been times that I've had athletes calling me at like 9 o'clock at night. And I'm just like, okay, something's up. Like they never call me in
That's
that late,
exactly how I feel. Well, why are you
you
calling?
know? So I'll answer it, and usually it's they're going through something and they need to talk it out. And like as Ramel says, like even though you're college, you're like their parent away from home. Like in retrospect, I am just someone that they feel like they can talk it out to and get an adult's opinion on and trust, as well. So it's like some of them may call me their second parents. I do have some athletes out there that have been like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, this is like my second mom or something like that, which is
Mhm.
fair because, I do treat them as if they were my own kids that I currently don't have right now. That's the point. The way I say it is I have
Uh,
110 kids every year. But I think that's where it's hard too, because it's like, they trust you at the same time and you don't want to lose that trust either. So it's such a hard balance. But I think you also know your athletes at the same time. So if
Yeah.
there are ones that are calling you that late, you kind of have an idea of, oh, that athlete trusts me. They tell me everything that's going on. Something's obviously going on right now that they need to talk it out to. So I'm going to take this phone call. Because there has been times that like I've been out with the family too, and they're calling me and I was like, okay, look, I'm gonna be straight up with you. Like, I'm out with the family right now. So is this something that you really need to talk it out right now, or are you just trying to make conversation in general? And they're like, it can wait. And I was like, okay. I was like, you can text me and I'll text back when I can. But other than that, like we can have a deeper conversation about this at a later time.
It's kind of like people who say they have a question, but they actually have a comment or a story.
Yes.
And like you
And
see them like raise
high
their hand, and
schooler
it's like,
stories.
is this actually a story or is this a question? And then just kind of go,
And the thing with high schoolers too is like it's not going to be like 2 cents questions. It's going to be, oh,
right.
you need the background before I get to what I
Mhm.
actually need you to answer.
Yeah. I just need the background to arrive like 30 minutes, sooner than, yeah. All right, let's go ahead and spin our spinning wheel of topics for our second question of the night. First, we'll eliminate this one. See, somebody was upset we didn't have music for it. Now we have little like tunes and little things for it, so this is great. Ooh, what a great question. And again, right before the podcast. So, coaches, what team bonding activities do you do?
This was my
Awesome.
question, so I guess I should go first. Um, so one thing we do is we do a tic-tac-toe relay. I don't know if you guys have ever played that before. So essentially you set up like a tic-tac-toe board like on the track and you have two teams and you give them like two different type of cones. And then so they're like running up, placing down the cone, running back, tagging their teammate, and they try to place a cone. So while
Oh,
also
okay.
trying to
Oh, yeah.
relay, they're also trying to play tic-tac-toe. And that's the thing is they're not paying attention to the board because their track, they're so worried about who gets there first. But it's like, nah, you also got to look at the board and actually play the game of tic-tac-toe. So that's one that we do. It's so much fun. If you all pull it up on my Instagram, I know it's on my Instagram or even the Run GB or my school's Instagram.
I don't know
Um,
why, but sadistically in my head, I thought you're like, all right, you're going to run 100 meters, then place the cone, then the next person's going to run 100 and
no,
place a
no.
cone, and just like it's just continuous relay until you get a tic-tac-toe.
No, no, it's
Like,
like 20
oh my
meters if
God.
that. And then another thing that my co-ed coach does is I don't know the actual name of it, but pretty much it would be like one person another, there'll be a cone in the center, and then she'd be like, okay, head, knees, hips, toe,
Oh,
like
grab the
it's like
cone.
a reaction
Yeah.
one. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then when they say
Okay.
cone, you like go and grab the cone. So that's another one that we do. I don't know what the actual name of it, but it's that
Right.
one's pretty funny too, because whoever's like the final one, they want to go against the head boss. And then so they'll challenge her to it and stuff like that. It's pretty funny.
We've played that one a couple times. The team loves that. They also, like you said, they're really competitive, so it's also just fun for me to watch them get upset and then like, no, 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 you cheated. I'm like, y'all relax, relax. Nobody cheated. Um, I'll say this too. We do a lot of team bonding just because I think for us, it's you have to. We're one team, especially trying to go and win like conference at the end. So you have to relate whether it's distance sprints, throws, and whatever event it is. So we'll do what like that one that Megan said. We'll play a game called Mafia. So it's basically a card game. Some people call it Werewolf, I think. So basically you have a deck of cards. The ace is the mafia. I think king is sheriff, queen is doctor, jack is a vigilante. And there's some other, and then if you're like a two through a six, you're a regular county. So basically, they get random cards, and then at night, I figure out who is who, so I know as the narrator what's going on. And
Okay.
then I'm like, all right, everybody know their role, everybody know what they're doing. So then at night, I tell the mafia to wake up, or the werewolf, whatever you want to call them. I'm like, who are you kicking out of the city? Because technically they're supposed to kill them, but you're not supposed to say that anymore, supposedly. So I say, who are you kicking out of the city? And so like you kick them out. They're like, oh, let's get rid of Joe. I'm like, all right, cool. They have to agree. The more mafia you have, the more people you can get rid of each night. But I'll start with like, say we have two mafia, those two have to agree on Joe. I'm like, all right, cool. Mafia, go to sleep. I'll be like, doctor, wake up. Who are you trying to save? So they can basically try to save the person that the mafia is trying to get rid of, or save themselves. And hopefully they pick the right person. Most of the time, they never do. Then the sheriff gets to investigate, so they can ask me specifically who is the mafia, and I'll tell them yes or no. And then they go to sleep. The vigilante's job is to basically hit the mafia at night, basically attack them, kick them out the city. If they hit a regular townie, they are then kicked out of the city themselves. It's so confusing with rules, but they like that one. And then basically they wake up and vote out who's mafia after I let them know who survived, who didn't. The townies have to get rid of all the mafia before the mafia get rid of all of them. But it's a game of bluff, so you can't show your card. So you have to trust that so if someone says I'm the sheriff and I inspected somebody, that you have to trust that that's who they are. Um,
That
it's
sounds
literally
like
a
it was
game of bluff.
created by the same people that as the Diamond League when they're trying to figure out what event finals will look like. Oh my God.
Yes.
All right, you
Okay.
jumpers, go to sleep. Now, which jumper is going to actually get 5 jumps? I mean,
Yes, pretty much.
Oh,
The
I
team
have
really loves it. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I have a whole side comment about LA Olympics, but we can talk about that later. I need to hear more of this mafia game or whatever.
So I'll send you guys the rules and instructions or whatever.
Yeah,
But it
because
seems
Yeah,
I'm
to
please
like,
do.
I don't know. I can't picture in my brain. I guess I need to go through an actual scenario to
Like,
understand.
so
I,
like
I
let
get what you're doing. I've played it before with the werewolf version.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Oh,
not,
So
but I've done
like
it with a class, not like with a team. A team would be
oh,
fun.
it's a lot harder, I'll be honest, with the larger team because once you're out, then you're just sitting there. But you're
Yeah.
also tell the people just sitting there because they were like, "You killed me." You're like, "Shh." You can't tell the rest of the people still in the game.
oh,
So
interesting.
like they're watching live now. So the people that get out like first round are really miserable, but everyone else seems to like it. But they like that. We'll do like the random four corners game. Like you, if you like ice cream pizza, go to whatever blah blah blah
Oh,
corner.
yeah. There you go.
There was another one that was really complicated. I'm not going to explain it, but they seem to like it. Um, I used to do like other sports like baseball, kickball, and stuff, but then again, they're way too competitive, and then they get hurt, or someone hits somebody, and then I'm like, all right, yeah, we're done.
Yeah, that part.
So I've stopped doing those kind of things, but we do quite a bit of team bonding.
Yeah, would you rather is also a good one too. We'll set that up and give them like two questions. Like, would you rather live in a cave or would you rather live in a tree house? And then like you just tell them which side to go where, and it just kind of shows like everyone's mindset.
Yeah, the other one is the team has created cahoots about random facts on the team. And then last year we played Guess Who. So I took everybody's picture and you had to guess who it was without picking their event or physical features like hair, skin color, anything like that. You had to figure out who they were, and they really liked that one. At
Huh.
least they had a list in front of them to guess. But so, because again, there's 60 of us on the team, it's really hard to remember all 60. But that way, but you had to be like, oh, I know that fact. They like fishing. Who on the team likes fishing? We've heard this a million times. So you had to know your teammates, but also learn about your teammates at the same time.
Yeah,
I
interesting.
like that.
I do too.
So we used to do Friday fun days. We tried to do that at least at the high school I was at. The problem in Colorado is our season's like 8 weeks long.
Mm.
So it's like, what can you, I mean, we got stuff we got to get done in 8 weeks. So it's hard to do too much team bonding besides like on trips and stuff.
Yeah.
But in college, I know we did a lot of sand volleyball.
Oh, there you
Ooh.
go.
Or I guess the one high school I coached at, we did do, it was towards the end of the season that was like after state. We would do a where you have the group and you kind of split them up and they have to do a different event than their normal event and they get scored and everything. And then you got to take those scores and see which team won.
I like that.
Yeah.
Kind of like a little like mini Olympics type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but you couldn't do the events that you actually do.
No, but that's legit. Um, we didn't do as many game type things. With a lot of the programs I was at, we did a lot of them that were more um, just structured around the value outside of the track, right? So, like, as a throws coach, we did throws giving. And
Okay.
so everyone like brought food and we did a potluck. And then, like, it was our club kids, our middle school kids, and our high school kids.
I
So,
love
like, every like age group could kind of come together
Yeah.
and share these things. And everyone had to talk about a struggle they were going through in training and something that they were thankful for, right? And I still have kids that reach out to me like to this day who are just like, man, I miss a lot of things about track, but I miss that the most. And like, so that was really cool. Um, and with some programs I've been at where the student athletes have been in a less than advantageous financial position, right? We've done dollar store secret Santa, where you had a max budget of $1 and had to go into the dollar store and find some kind of funny gift. And we did it as a secret Santa thing with everyone going around. And people couldn't, come up with $1, we'd help them out, I mean, because most people can come up with $1 or something like that. And a
Yeah.
lot of the times, our athletes would like bring $1 for somebody else. So like they were helping each other out too. And then they would take a practice and they would go and do that. And then we'd come back and we'd open them all together and just like it is a fun little like gag way of doing it. We've done like the human knot where you get everyone in the group
Mm,
and you like
hmm.
twist them up. That was kind of a fun one. Um, okay, this one, this is my last one. I never would have thought of it as a team bonding one, but it was actually one of the better ones I think we did. So when I was coaching at a program and we were working with the cross country team, we were going to camp for the program's first time doing cross country camp. And we had a few activities planned out for them. We had like disc golf and I mean like the place had a whole lot of stuff going on, right? But the camp itself wasn't solely just reserved for us. There were other people that were there too, including like this group from a families who were like in kind of a hard time financially sort of situation. And they were doing this karaoke night for the kids, right? And so our cross kids came out and they're like, let's do it. And between our cross kids singing and then our coaches got up and sang too, like these kids and this other thing, they just had an awesome time because our kids are like, what kid songs do we know? What can we sing? And it became this like really cool way of giving back to somebody else outside of our program. But I always like the bonding things where it's more than just what we do between the lanes and the circles and the runways. The things that show us the value beyond it, I think, were the ones that I love the most.
Yeah. My team loves anything but a baton relay.
Ooh, there you go.
So like on Halloween, we did a
Mhm.
Halloween costume relay and we did it as a 4x2. So the kids absolutely love that. But they were like, Coach, why didn't we do anything but a baton relay? Like, that's our favorite. I was like, we'll get there. Calm down. There's time. But they ask for that one every single time. The things they come up with, man. One year they had a granola bar that was like crumbled by the time they got to the finish line. One of them had, oh God, what was another? One of them wanted to use a povo pole, so I let them use a povo pole. They wanted to do
Yeah.
that. Um, one of them was a like stuffed bears, like some sort of stuffed plushie that they were like passing around. It just, the things they come up with is hysterical sometimes.
I
Let's
remember
say,
seeing people do a pool noodle once and just going wild down the track.
well, my high school we did a banana and it was just the throwers. They do a banana relay. It was all the different schools, so it's actually out of meat. And you pass out the
Okay.
banana, you pass it. The last person has to open it and eat it before the time
Oh,
stops.
I like that catch. I like that. We
that's
were at a meet once. It was a school in Grand Rapids. They had a separate 4x1 than just the standard 4x1 for the invite, and it was throwers only. So you had to
hmm
throw in the meet to be in the 4x1.
hmm
But here was the catch. If you won, their throwers got to go have whatever was left in the coach's hospitality area.
Oh,
Oh my God. You should have
man.
seen the mountains of food these
Uh,
kids came out with. I mean, just like
dude, they were pigging
pizza
out. You
stacked
already
on
know.
sandwiches, stacked on other pizzas, and then cookies, and then I mean, it was just I, I one of the funniest things ever. I mean, it was just like we would have kids that would come up and be like, "Can I be a thrower for just one meet?" It's like, no, no, you cannot be.
Oh, yo, that's dope.
All right. Well, rounding around the track here, let's go ahead and bring up our spinning wheel of topics again, and we will jump back into our next one here. Oh, goodness. Well, it would help if my screen actually pulled it up here. Oh, the joys of this. This is great.
That's why we can edit it out.
I'm getting better at that, just so you know, I am. Like at some point I'm gonna have it where like we have all of our faces in like different corners of the thing. Like it'll be awesome. But all right, we will eliminate that question. Bum,
How
bada, bada,
wheel
bum.
is so small.
I know, right? If this is your first episode with us, ladies and gentlemen, when we started this, we all had like two or three questions each on the wheel. It was just packed. So But Christmas is coming, so there'll be more questions soon.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh,
Oh, that's a good one.
like this
Ah.
one. When coming down to who competes in postseason, how do you decide? Now, let me preface this for all of our audience here and say that not everyone in every state or every level has the same standards for qualifying for postseason play.
Mhm.
So before you're like, well, this is silly, like of course we know who's going. Not always the case. Yes.
Well, I think this was my question. I actually pulled this off of a cross country group that I'm in, and they were trying to decide who actually is going to race on
Oh,
their varsity team for cross country.
that makes sense.
Do they pick the kid who's running fastest now, the one who consistently runs the fastest, the one who's improved the most?
Tough.
So should we pose this question as both a cross question and a track question? Because
Yeah.
again, like
I wish
for
John
some
was
states, it
here.
might be different. It might depend on qualifiers and this and that. But
Yeah,
in cross, it is a more legitimate, like,
it is.
yeah. So how
Oh,
about
I
we
wish
start with
John was
answering it?
here for that.
I
Okay.
haven't answered. At least I'll give us a general answer.
Well, then how about we start with the cross country side of it, and then we can go around the horn, and then we'll come back to the track side of it, going around the horn.
Okay.
All right. Romello, you said you had an answer, so why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, I guess I'm the cross country guru on this side since John isn't here.
Love you,
So
John.
well, John, no. We love John. But so for us, what
Shame
we've
on you,
done in the
John.
past, so for us, you can only take 7 to region or run 7. We typically take 8 or 9, and what we do is we take kind of the average. So who's the average fastest 7? So typically, you always have your 1, 2, or 3, and 4 are probably your normal ones. 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9 kind of range a little bit. So we kind of look at who's been at practice the most, who's putting in the effort, and then look at who's average the fastest each time. And like, all right, you've kind of done a little bit more average wise to be our number 7 person. So you're going to be 7 this week. This week you're 8. So we kind of do a little bit of both.
But how do you choose your average?
We look at, I mean, yes, we look at course difficulty and things like that.
Yeah.
But you kind of look at
Oh,
their
yeah.
race times and see like, all right, like, so like we'll go to Roanoke. Roanoke for us is typically really fast. So like we'll look, oh, Roanoke's really fast. Like our home course is not very fast, but we know like, hey, like you're probably a little this if you were running on another course. If it weren't what our home course is. So we kind of look at those things. Yes, I know course difficulty, but if your average, let's say, is 24 minutes, I'm just making numbers up, so don't take these to hurt people. If your average is 24 minutes, whereas someone else might be a little bit like 25, 26, I'm like, all right, you were a little better. Yes, a 25-minute person might have had a 22-minute race at some point. But how are we doing placing? Or where are we doing placing within the team as well? Are you average? Also, are you averagely number 8? Or are you sitting at number 7? So I'm also looking at where you're coming in compared to the team.
You know,
Hopefully that answers.
I think for me, like in the brief time that I was working with cross country programs, um, one of the things we looked at was have we raced that course before, or what type of course is it? And then we looked at the times and speeds for our kids in correlation to, again, where is all their training tracking, right? Because I mean, any given day, anyone can run a great race, a slow race, but if your numbers are consistent and the training is holding, like you can kind of map out when people should hit their peaks, right? And so I think that plays a lot into it. But I think it also comes down to if it's on the line, do I trust person A or person B more to go get the job done when their back's against the wall? Because again, times can be times, but I've seen people who've gotten beat by somebody who isn't as athletically gifted as them simply because they didn't quit. Little less so seeing that in cross, but it does still happen. Um, I mean, I remember we were at a place once where they said that the course was going to be very hilly and very slow, and it was flat and fast. And so we had a game plan coming in, and it was just like, all right, we got to adjust. So, but at that point, names are already in. So it just is what it is. But I think a lot of it comes down to not just times and speeds, but can you trust that person when it matters most?
And I feel like we did a lot of who would have won head to head. At
Ooh.
each meet, how many times did that person win? Have a faster time head to head compared to the other one. Even if they ran in like the JV race, it's still the same course. It's like, would they have beaten them time wise in such and such meets? But because I did coach college cross country for, a season, not to, but
Um, yeah, I am not going to comment on this because, again, I am a head coach and I still don't know everything as a head coach. I'll admit it, I'll put it out there. I'm still learning about cross country and like how the scoring works and how the teams work and stuff like that. It's so different than track. So different than track. So I don't feel like I don't even want to say credentials, but I don't feel like I have enough knowledge to like comment on it. So I'll comment on the track side, not the cross country side.
Okay, since we've gone around the horn on the cross country side of it, let's come back to the track side. And if it's all right with you guys, I want to kick this one off because in Michigan, when I was there, a lot of the time, and we'll go high school level first, right? In the Michigan high school level, it was usually your top two got an automatic bid to the regional, and then from there you had to place top two or hit a standard to go to state. Now there's like an early qualifier, but it's usually still everyone gets two entries, right? In Indiana, you have to denote who your two postseason people are, usually before the conference meet. So I
Hmm.
need to pick them for the conference meet, and then those two will still go on to those events at the sectional, and then from there they need to finish top three or get a call back to go to regional, top three or call back at regional to go to state, and that's where it's at. And collegiately, it's A standard or B standard, up to four entries for NAIA, NCAA descending order lists for indoor, outdoor, descending order lists for some divisions like D2, D3. I think JUCO as well. NAIA is still A and B standard, and D1 has regionals. So again, varies all the way across. But even in that, we had a girl on a team I was with once who was not the number two disc person, but the way the training was tracking, I felt they had a stronger case to make it through to regionals if we put them in the discus. And so the other person who was a senior, we had them go to shot because they were still competitive over there as well, and ended up making it through to sectionals, um, which was fun, and they did all right at sectionals. Didn't go to regional, but our discus kid made it all the way to regional. And at the beginning of the year, didn't even think that they would be in a position to necessarily be top five in the conference, and they were as well. So I think sometimes it really depends on that training piece. If everything's tracking there, what's the trend? Because who your hot hand is, maybe midway through the season, might not be tracking to who's going to be the best for you come postseason.
Hmm.
And so I think you have to really look. And again, this is 20 years of seeing the throw stuff to know the trends there. That I'm like, I'm confident enough that this is the right move for these two people.
Hmm.
Does it always work? No, but in
No.
this case, I think it did. Um, but what do you guys think as far as your postseason stuff, where you guys are at, and how do you approach that?
I think you
Oh,
kind of got to know too who's your big meat competitors,
Yep.
ooh,
your
yeah.
big meat kids. Because I mean, I used to get crap all the time because I would squeak into nationals at number 16. The multi they take about 16.
Hmm.
And then I would usually put myself up into the top eight by the end. And that was me. I was a big meat competitor. So I feel like you got some kids that struggle at big meets and some that succeed. So it's kind of knowing that too.
Yeah, what all y'all are saying, California is such a beast when it comes to that kind of stuff. So at our league meet, which I'm guessing is conference for you guys, I'm still trying to define the
Yeah.
difference here. High school only coach here, guys.
Yeah.
Um, if you're first in league at the league meet only, it doesn't matter what you did throughout the season. It has to be done at the league meet. You are automatically into postseason. Second and third place, you have to hit these certain standards based off what division your school is in order for you to go. And then there's the at large or not an at large mark, a wild card mark. So if you're not top three, you have and but you hit that mark at that meet, then you can make it into postseason as well. And then depending which area you live in out here in Cali, you may have to go through 3 rounds of postseason before you make it to the state meet. So
Yeah.
there's CIF prelims, finals, masters, and then state. That's how California is. And so what slowly happens is you'll slowly get knocked down from prelims, then you slowly get knocked out from finals, and then masters, and then that's how you make it to state. So the best way to describe it for people that don't know California, think of CIF prelims is you compete against all schools within your division in Southern section, in your section as well. That is what prelims is. And then they take like top 12, if I remember correctly. Then you do finals. Finals is again within your division, within your section. Then they take the six. Masters is when it's now all 4 divisions, because that's what we have out here in California is 4 divisions in track, is all divisions are now combined and you compete against one another. And then I think from there, it's six is what goes to state. So California is such a like knockout system, but it depends because not everyone is in Southern section. So, like for example, city section, LA city section, doesn't have to go through all of postseason like I do in my program. So they have their league meet, they go straight to state. They get to skip all the CIF stuff. But I think they have to hit like certain marks in their league meet for them to go to state or something like that. I'm not quite sure how it works, but they don't have to go through the postseason stuff like we do.
So how do they justify that in California with them not having to go through some of those postseason things?
Honestly, I don't know. The way I honestly, y'all, the way I view it is not my monkeys, not my circus. It doesn't affect my program. I'm not going to take the like opportunity to research it. I'm going to focus on my kiddos, you know.
Fair enough.
So it's difficult. Now, I on the relay side, this is where it gets
Mm.
tricky. So we don't need the relay that like qualified at league finals have to be the same relay in postseason. But once I submit those names for postseason, it has to be the same 6 through all of postseason. So that's
Okay.
where it gets tricky for us, and we kind of play around with our cards and go from there because we can only submit 6, so it's only 2 alternates, and then you just go from there. So I know my co-ed coach, she likes to do a runoff sometimes. That kind of determines who's going to be on the relay
Mhm.
and we'll do that. And then if she has like 3 or 4 kiddos that is in mind for like the 2 alternates, pretty much they would be the ones doing the runoff. And then that would just determine because here's another thing too, and I think this is a question I want to pose for another time is I want to have a full conversation about alternates in regards to relays. But I want that to be on the wheel of topics, so we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Well, y'all's choices of choosing people seems way harder than mine at the college level. Too much work. So for us, everyone for us goes to conference. We can only enter 6 people per event, so I kind of have to then balance. And I typically same thing. My fastest 6 are typically my fastest 6 all year long. We for my team, it's set. Like unfortunately, number 7 and 8 has not caught 6. It's not even close. Even if they were faster. So it's really easy on my end. On that case, I'm like, all right, my fastest 6, we're gonna put you in each event. And then if we also look at if you're going to be able to score. So, because again, our job is to try and go win conference. So let's say I have a young man, again, making these numbers up, making this person up. Joe, he runs the 1, the 2, and the 4. If Joe is sitting at 22nd in the 400, I'm not going to waste my time throwing Joe in unless the times are close. So like if he runs 49 and 1 through 22 is all like 49:01, okay, I might take the risk. But if Joe's running 49 and eighth place is 47, Joe, I'm sorry, you're not going to run 4. So things like that. But if I know he's sitting at 6th place in the 100, again, that's where I'm looking at. It's like, oh, you have a much better shot of scoring in the 100. Let's throw you in the 100 versus the 4. Because what happens is, like the last 2 years, our conference has been a rolling schedule. So by the time the 4x4 arrives, it's kind of who's alive, who's not doing an event right now. So I can throw you in it. So it's kind of also be fresh to run a 4x4.
Who's alive is absurd.
Well,
But you
literally
ain't wrong.
the last
You
two
never
years, our
seen a
conference,
meme about the 4x4? Come on.
like it literally is who's alive. Our last 2 conferences, the last 2 years, because of weather, has been run in 2 hours. Every event in 2 hours. So it's kind of like literally who is alive.
Yeah, that is absurd.
So, in terms of like trying to go to nationals, last chance, of course, if you're on that descending order list that Sean mentioned, you have a shot. It's kind of ranged here and there. The last year we took if you were within the top 100, we took you. Of course, if you're literally on the verge of nationals, like they take 22 and you're sitting at 24, yes, you're going to go to a last chance meet because you literally have a shot. If you're in that 22, yes, you're going to go to a last chance meet. The other thing we looked at is if you're on the verge of breaking the school record, we'll more than likely take you to that last chance.
Okay. That makes sense.
And then within reason, some seniors we take, because some of the seniors are like, nah, let's just end on a good note. So
Yeah.
we look at that too for I guess our postseason. But I know in other schools, other conferences, it's a little bit different. Like everyone doesn't get to go. So like one of my former conferences, they took like the top 45. So if you weren't in the top 45 in every event, you didn't get to go. So that meant some schools might have had 20 people in the event, whereas that school had none.
Gee, how is that fair?
I've seen some college conferences where they'll do like top 2 or 3 in an
Yeah,
event, right? But that way it
Yeah.
makes it a little more competitive across the board. But there have been some um, where they didn't have a limit, and they're
yeah.
just like, here, enter as many as you want. And so
Damn.
one school would just run away with like first through eighth in the 1 and the 2,
Yeah.
and you're just like, well, the meet's kind of over, but here are all these other events.
And
Mm.
also,
Um,
like one of my old conferences, we used to do that, and then we kind of separated. So that's when they decided let's just keep it at 6. But the one that you said that like, how is that fair? It's not in terms of team wise, because unfortunately you might not have anybody at the meet.
Yeah.
But the coaches are also kind of
College that I was in was descending. You had to be in like the top 12
yeah.
to go to
So
conference.
yeah, so okay, I have a question. So like at college level, so like in high school, the way we know our divisions is based off our population of our school. So that determines like what division we're in. So like how is it in college? Like how do you determine what conference your college is in?
Your president and your AD kind of ask around to other conferences and be like, "Can I join your conference?" Or, "Hey, we're leaving your conference for such and such conference."
But
Um,
some of that also has to do with and this speaks more to like different division levels as well, because some schools will move up and down divisions like within like the NCAA set, or even make a jump from NAIA to NCAA. There are certain standards that your sports have to have as far as how many seats you can have at different sporting events, because they want to make sure that you're generating something or have the potential to generate something, right? So like if you want to be in Division 1 FBS football, your program has to have X number of thousands of seats, right? And so it might be like
Huh.
24 or something like that, 1,000 seat. If you didn't have like a 24,000 seat capacity, I'm making this number up for those of you at home who are like, no, that's not the number. Um, Again, just bear with us. So there is some set number out there for the different events. And so it's kind of across the board. So they look at all your different sports and see what they can do with that.
yeah.
Um,
I think they also look at how many sports you have as well. So like
yes,
certain
yes,
ones you
they
have
do.
to have like if you have 19 sports, you might not be able to be D1 or whatever.
Yeah,
And then budget matters how much money you have to be within the division as
yeah.
well.
Okay.
And because of that, right? So like when we talk about like the league versus conference thing, right? So like the league and conference are essentially synonyms. It's the same thing, like no matter where you're at. Like your league is your conference, right?
Hmm.
Um, but there are conferences within each of the different divisions. So like if we were to look at like Division One, I mean you could say there's the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12, you know, the re-emergence of the Pac-12. Come on, Pac-12. Uh, hey, I missed some Pac-12 after dark. That was awesome. But there's also a lot of lower level D1s too. And so within that, there will be a division of these ones are D1 for like track and field, but they don't have enough capacity for fans for basketball, football, yada, yada, yada. And so they're a lower tier for football, but they're still technically D1 for like Olympic sports.
Interesting.
So like I don't know let me because I was gonna say coaching at the high school level in Michigan, it was all by enrollment.
Yeah, that's what
How
we
many
are.
people you had, determined your division, and called it good.
Mhm.
Like so, like they had 8 divisions for football, and like D1 and D2 would be Division 1 for track, right?
Oh, okay.
But there's such a disparity up there now that there's a lot of talk of like, well, can we have 5 divisions? And we can kind of split some of those things up a little bit because you could have a team that's D3 one year and is okay, and they drop down because of enrollment, and then they run stuff in D4, but they keep like straddling the line, right?
Hmm.
Versus Indiana has a lot more like big school, small school stuff, but then there is a like a definitive state champion, right? So
Yeah,
like for track, we have one state champ.
same.
So it's
Same in
just, I mean,
California.
it's not bad. Like I don't mind it per se, but let's be real. A school with 80 kids versus a school with 2,400 or 3,500 kids, they're just statistically not going to have as many athletes.
Hmm.
They're not going to have as much funding, and they're probably not going to have as many high-level coaches to be able to facilitate big championship style runs. So why put those two together? I mean, at the college level, sure, like they'll go everywhere, but and Kaya, you can probably help me attest to this too. There have been people who've been D1 athletes who aren't necessarily D1 athletes, just like there are people who are NAI athletes who well above their station could have been D2 or D1 even.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here, good
Yeah.
example for everyone at home. Um, the Canadian men's Olympic hammer thrower and world championship hammer thrower. He was an NAIA guy before he transferred out to D1.
Okay.
I mean,
And
you
he
have
was
Trevor
winning.
Bassett in the 400 hurdles, who's
Yeah.
just been
Yeah.
killing it. D2
He's an
guy at
Ashland guy,
Ashland.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
you
I
can even think
mean,
about the D3 guy here. What's his name? Sam Blaskowski that just graduates and runs 9.9. So
mm,
like he could have gone D1 if he wanted to.
yeah.
But even like, I mean, I was, a pretty like upper mid D2 kid. I still used to look at like SEC and I'd still scored like 15, 16 points
Yeah.
between my events. So,
So, I mean, I think when it comes to like that division piece, like, and some of those, like at high school, maybe it should be more about enrollment and how it works. Once you get to college, it's more about the money and the seats.
That makes sense.
This being said, though, for all of our viewers at home, if you want more information on how every single state qualifies their high school kids to their state championship meets, Gill Athletic Connections podcast, hosted by Mike Cunningham, has an entire episode devoted to how each state qualifies for the state finals. You can go ahead and check the backlog that he has. I think he's up over 350 episodes now. And while you're giving that a listen, make sure you stop by gillathletics.com for any of your athletic needs for your program, whether it's facilities, equipment, training, uniforms, you name it, they got you covered. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, we've made it around the track a few times, and now it is finally time for the cool down. So, our expert panel of coaches for today's cool down, because this is right before Thanksgiving, let's hear what you guys have to say on what your favorite Thanksgiving food is and or tradition is for the holiday.
Pumpkin pie, period.
You were so confident at the beginning of the episode. I thought you had something like that we hadn't heard of before. And you're just like,
This is confidence. Pumpkin pie, period.
I'm so oh,
so basic.
she said it with her chest, man. All chest, all confidence.
Just see your 49ers game. Pumpkin pie!
So while watching it over Thanksgiving, then she's just gonna have it in her hand, ready.
Right.
With cream in the mouth, you know.
That's all our Instagram page is gonna be. It's just her like bragging about the pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving.
I'll tag you guys in exclusively.
Right. All right. Kai or Mel, what do you guys have?
Mine would probably be deviled eggs.
Ooh.
And I had one of my teammates, her dad pretty much adopted me since I'm from out of state. And so every time he used to make me deviled eggs when we go over there.
Ooh.
And he already had 8 daughters, so he didn't mind adopting, a couple more from the team.
I love that so much.
That's legit.
Yeah.
Good man. Good man. Well done. All right, Ramel?
I'm going sweet potato casserole, whatever you call it, where you have the sweet potatoes and you put the marshmallows on top. So
Okay.
delicious.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the only thing I request. My mom is very aware when I come home. I don't care what else you make, just make sure that dish is there.
It's not there, I won't be.
Listen, she always forgets the marshmallows. We're set. Always waits till after the marshmallows. So I brought them
I'll make
already.
sure it gets done.
It's happening.
Are you sending a picture like every day? Just a reminder, I have the bag already. Like,
Well, I don't tell her. She already knows they're happening. I literally call. I'll like next week. I'll be like, "Did you get the marshmallows? No, I'll get them tomorrow. Did you get the marshmallows? No, and I already have them. But and then she'll be like Thursday morning. So I didn't get marshmallows. I got you.
oh,
I got
geez.
you set.
That's hysterical.
Well, I think the only thing more basic than Megan's answer is going to be my answer, and it is just very, very basic. You got to have some real good mashed potatoes. Like, it is not Thanksgiving without the turkey and the mashed potatoes, but the mashed potatoes better be on point.
Like a
Okay.
pound of butter.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Like Paula Dean needs to be crying tears of how proud she is from how much butter is in those mashed potatoes.
I need to do a follow-up if it's mashed potatoes. Gravy or no gravy, y'all. I'm a no gravy girl. I don't like gravy.
No
It
gravy.
depends on the day. But if it's done right, you don't need the gravy. But I can put gravy on it. It's got to be the brown gravy. I don't like the other gravy.
It's the only time I do gravy. It's
Okay.
like Thanksgiving.
Look, I feel bad because my wife makes really good gravy, but I'm not a gravy guy. Like I'm
Neither
just
am
do not bring that anywhere near my mashed potatoes. We will throw down.
I.
Where? Oh, okay. And this sweet Hawaiian rolls. I know some
Oh.
people can't do the rolls, but like it better be sweet Hawaiian rolls. I swear to
Yes.
God.
See, I'm more of a, I love their sweet Hawaiian rolls, but if we're going bread, I'm going cornbread all day.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
damn it.
All day.
Guys, Thanksgiving's a week away. I can't start like this now.
Okay,
Like I want it now.
I got something to help break this.
Oh
I
God.
need your opinion. Come here.
Okay, I'm happy to be on the episode.
I'm happy to have you, man.
Coach Junior,
Yes.
what is your favorite food item for Thanksgiving? We need this on the air here.
Okay. My favorite food item? That's tough. Honestly, I gotta say the bread rolls.
Oh, you pick the bread rolls? No.
Okay, okay.
If I see somebody eat the last bread roll, I'ma just say, "Yep, it's time to grab it out of their mouth." I'm gonna open them up and I'll say, "Yay, I got the bread roll."
He's fighting for the last roll. Y'all hear that, guys? That last
Oh
roll is
no,
his.
he's fighting for the last roll, but man, like that's a true thrower. It makes me very proud.
I'd be like,
Happy to be
oh,
on the
thanks.
episode. Yeah, I'll be in a later episode, everybody. So
All right. Well, I tell you what, you can help us here close this episode out.
Okay.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us from the Emerging Elite podcast.
Yeah, so that's the news for the late Emerging Elite podcast. Everybody,
What a
go get a
handoff,
drink,
right?
go get a snack, and wait till the next episode. Bye, everybody. I'm gonna have to go.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for another wonderful episode of the Emerging Elite podcast. Make sure you follow us on YouTube and Spotify and check out our Instagram page as well. So, for Coach Williams, Coach Cooper, Coach Crow, and myself, we all wish you a very happy Thanksgiving and all of the gravy, stuffing, deviled eggs, rolls, mashed potatoes, and pumpkin pie
Thank
that
you.
you could want for Thanksgiving. God bless.
Bye.